hate my life. I don't always look stunning, and not all my clothes are the prettiest. I don't drink cool drinks or eat cool food every single day. I barely have any Instagram-worthy pictures in my camera roll. My life will never be like the ones these other girls are living. But I can change that. I can work hard, put on makeup every day, buy the cutest clothes, force my parents to go to Starbucks every single week, and take pictures of everything. I will make myself believe my life is cool. And then everyone else will believe it too. If 5 years ago I kept a diary, this is what I would have written. But of course I didn't keep one, because God forbid somebody found it, read it, and discovered that everything I've been posting on social media and telling people at school was a big, fat lie. That was not a risk I was willing to take. I had worked really hard to create this fake, perfect version of myself on the internet. And that raises the question, why? Why not just be yourself? Why does everything have to fit a certain standard, and why does it have to be portrayed on social media? Now, if I asked this question to myself from 5 years ago, she would say something like, "Are you stupid? Do you not want friends? Nobody cares that you like video games or animals or whatever you're truly passionate about. They just care about what you post. How pretty it is, how trendy, how aesthetic. So unless you want to be a useless outcast, you better play along." Now, I apologize for my younger self's behavior, but I must say, I feel very sorry for her. I feel sorry for the girl who one day decided to stop being herself. I feel sorry for the girl who packed away her entire collection of horse models and hid it in a box underneath her bed. I feel sorry for the girl who decided to delete all the video games off of her computer and replace them with Instagram and Snapchat. I feel sorry for the girl who, despite hating coffee, dragged her parents to Starbucks every single week. And in this case, I also feel sorry for her parents. Sorry, Mom. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but I was slowly getting sucked into something I like to call the social media bubble. Now, the rules inside this bubble are fairly simple, and if you abide by them, you will get the ultimate reward. Friends, happiness, popularity, respect. Now, what are these rules? Actually, there's pretty much one main, most important one, the law of the media bubble, which you agree to follow once you enter. Now, this law states that you have to change your life, make sure it's up to date with the newest trends, but not your real life. Oh, no. Just your online one. Because real doesn't matter inside the bubble, nor does it have any value. The only thing that matters is what's in here. Not in here, no. Now, there's also a bit of an unspoken law that is followed by everyone inside the bubble, and most do it unconsciously. This law states you have to get as many people as you can to join you on the inside. And you do this by sharing the picture-perfect life you've created, not only to the internet, but to your closest circle. Because the more people see it, the more they will start to look at their own lives. They will start to notice every little flaw in themselves, and they will end up thinking, I hate my life. And this isn't just a teenager problem. Many adults struggle with this too. My mom, for example, sometimes says to me, God, why can't I write long, profound posts on Facebook about my work and my life every single day? And keep in mind, this is coming from the most brilliant, intelligent, confident woman I know. Sometimes she too is tempted to step inside the bubble. Now, after everything I've said, it seems like people make a choice, especially young people, to go in or not to go in the bubble. But do they? If we take a look at the past, if some of you guys that are a bit older can look back to your childhoods, a version of the social media bubble existed back then too, although it was different. See, back then, we had Hollywood, movies with perfect characters and happy endings, books with those same qualities. Back then, kids would go into the movie theaters or pick up a book in order to experience the perfect fake life, to get to live vicariously through various characters. So, how is that any different from what we have now? See, the main difference is that those kids would walk out of the movie theaters and they would close their books and they would go back to their real lives. Those kids had a clear distinction in their minds with what was real and what was fake, because they didn't have the tools that we have now right at their fingertips to create this little fake reality of their own. Now, in 2023, kids at the early age of 10 can just waltz right into the bubble because they can get social media. So going back to the main question, the choice question. Imagine you're a teenager, and I'm presenting you with two choices. Choice number one, create the life, which by everyone's account is the most desirable one. Be able to access it anytime you want. Be able to show it off to your friends anytime you want. Or choice number two, disregard all that is right in front of you, the chance to be happy and accepted by the world around you, and just stand there, all alone, outside the bubble. Now, I know which one I would choose. I would go with number one because, well, I did. It's not long ago that I was the exact same age when I made that choice. And since then, I have studied my life very carefully to try and find the exact moment when it happened, when I crossed the line into the world of the media bubble. And you know what? I didn't find that moment. Perhaps, and what is most likely, is that this process is not instantaneous, but rather gradual, almost impossible to detect. Right now, social media is not a source of entertainment or education like movies or books. It is an absolutely essential part of our everyday lives. First, it presents us with a way to make our lives more attractive, then even more attractive, and then even more attractive until it ceases to be our life. That is the path into the media bubble. Now we've taken a walk down memory lane. We've determined how toxic and detrimental the effects of the media bubble can be. So the logical next step is to determine, how do we get out? Now it's quite clear that once you set foot on this path into the media bubble, once you set foot on this digital yellow brick road, it's pretty much impossible to get off of it. Unless, of course, you want to pay a visit to Mark Zuckerberg himself and force him to shut down Instagram. And let's face the truth. At the end of the day, social media is not all bad, especially when you're the one in control, when you're outside of the bubble looking in. Okay, so how do we burst it? Now, I know the minute I wanted to burst that damn bubble more than anything else in the world. And it was when I was talking to one of my old friends. Now, this friend, she had the perfect social media life. She was one of the main reasons why I got an Instagram account to begin with, to be like her, to be her friend. And she was telling me how sad and alone she felt when she first came to our school. And why? Because none of the other girls liked video games like she did. So she hid that part of herself, choosing to portray something more cool. And that broke me. I thought to myself, so you're telling me that I could have been friends with someone I really liked, someone who I thought was incredibly cool all this time, if I would have just been myself? If I would have chosen to portray my real life and my real interests? Because back then, I liked video games too. I had this realization afterwards. You may go inside the bubble craving validation and acceptance from the many, but it only takes one person to make you realize that you need to get out. That one specific person that sees you for who you really are, a real person. Now, sometimes that someone can be a friend. And sometimes that someone is yourself. Once I was finally able to burst the bubble, it hit me. I never needed anything that wasn't here. I was able to look back at my life, my real life this time, and I saw that it was already perfect. Of course, not the kind of perfect that the media bubble says it should be, but it was my kind of perfect. And most importantly, it was real. Suddenly, social media didn't matter as much anymore. Suddenly, fitting the standard and documenting everything just to show it off didn't matter anymore. And it felt so liberating. And you know what? I didn't become a useless outcast like my younger self told me I would. And you know what? Neither will you. Now, I truly hope that no matter whether you're a teenager or an adult, whether it's one of you or 10 of you, that you will think about this. That you will be motivated to burst the bubble yourself or help somebody else do it. Because you will never find true friends that see you and love you for who you really are, nor will you be able to love yourself unconditionally while you're still inside. Now, I don't know who created this world. Whether it was God, Sir Charles Darwin, condensation of space dust after the Big Bang. But I do know this. They were not perfect. They created a world where sometimes we can't, for the life of us, find a matching pair of socks. They created a world with room for imperfect skin and stains on brand new white shirts. A world where people who don't start their days off with lattes from Starbucks and long posts about how exciting their day is going to be are worthy of love and respect. Now, I'm going to go a bit off script here, but I forgot to put on lip gloss before I went here on stage. And I was sitting in the audience thinking, oh my God, I don't have lip gloss on. How am I going to walk up here? And then I realized, how is the fact that my makeup isn't perfect or my clothes or anything else going to affect how I'm talking here right now? Because all I need is just myself. Because that is how this world works. This world was created for us. And this world is real. Thank you.